Hmm. Okay, already 43 people have joined. Great. Anna?
Wow, wonderful.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
All your efforts.
Blessy and her team. Blessy and her team.
Well, the leader has to be strong.
Without ma'am's support, nothing will be possible.
Absolutely.
Guidance.
Sue ma'am has not met Blessy. Anna? You have
No,
never
no,
met.
ma'am. No,
You
we
met? Okay, we met in Calcutta, Kolkata. Yeah. And Nancy, has she joined? Nancy? No, not yet.
Nancy ma'am just requested that can her students join. I said yes, ma'am. I'll just
Okay.
make a call, and once Nancy ma'am will join,
Thank you, beta, being around.
What is the time in US this time at this moment?
10 p.m. plus few
Okay,
minutes.
10 p.m. Okay.
Not
so
bad.
you were ready to go to bed.
Thank you for accommodating me at 8:30. It's early for you.
This is for me, it's okay. For Blessy and her team, little early. But
no, ma'am, it's okay. It's fine, ma'am. Not daily, no. We can.
Yeah.
We can do these things for the profession and for the society.
Yes.
You people are doing, you have adopted my baby and you're raising better than me.
No, not better than you, but
I gave up. I gave up. And then I just said, take it.
Ma'am,
and
Nancy,
you gave the tender, loving care.
Yes.
Back in Kolkata, how many members you made in one shot? Wonderful.
Yeah.
In Mumbai last year.
Mumbai also.
Yeah, you people are doing so good. Just
Number,
proud.
they join, but the membership is still not that good.
Okay.
But it's okay. People are aware of this organization.
Yeah. And this crisis also have just thrown us a little bit, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
Hello.
May I offer you some coffee?
I just have my hot water with cinnamon water. That's cinnamon.
Okay.
And honey.
Yeah, I too take that.
Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
How is the retired life?
Actually not really retired. It's almost as it was earlier. A lot of work.
Oh.
Like academic, my journal, I take out a journal.
Congratulations. Beautiful.
Studies. So that now this December issue is coming. One special issue on COVID we have taken out, but it is still in the process of getting ready. The person who was supposed to do it developed some problems relating to corona, and so that work is big work. And then you will also see my book, small book will come.
Whoa, history or some other thing? History?
No, it's not history, it is experiences of nurses. Epiphany in nursing epiphanies.
Congratulations in advance.
And also in the line, so there are 3 projects already. So it just keeps me busy.
Workaholics create problems, create work, create everything.
Yeah.
Very good morning, ma'am. Very good morning, Suresh ma'am.
Good morning, Soni. Good
Ma'am.
morning.
Yes, ma'am. Very good morning.
Good
Very
morning,
good
Soni.
morning to you too.
Soni, you have not met Sue ma'am.
No. First time I'm meeting them. Yeah.
Yes.
But I've heard
That is,
about
she
her.
is the person who made us start this Nursing Honor Society. Soni is one of the executive members.
I see.
Nancy ma'am
Welcome.
also joined, ma'am.
She's joining, Nancy?
Joined.
Okay. Let's see her and then say hello to her and we will start.
Ma'am is there, yeah.
Okay.
Good morning, ma'am. Nancy ma'am, good morning. Please unmute yourself. No? Okay. Just a minute, ma'am. कर दिया? Ma'am, now you have to unmute yourself. From our end, we have done it.
Yeah, it's got done. It's got done.
Good morning.
It kept showing that the host has muted you.
Now,
Hi, Nancy. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. How is Mumbai?
And thank you for inviting me.
Meet
Good
Sue
morning,
ma'am.
Madam Khanna. How are
There
you?
is Sue. You have not, Nancy. You have not met Sue ma'am.
I have seen her, but never met her in person.
Good
Okay, so
morning,
today you
Ji.
are meeting.
Good morning.
It's wonderful to see you.
How are you this
I'm
morning?
fine, thank you, ma'am. How are you?
Fine and ready to sleep.
Glad to see you too.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Blessy, we should start now.
ma'am, yeah, we'll start. I request Steffi to make Nancy ma'am co-host so that madam can share her screen also.
Let me welcome you all first.
Ma'am, just a minute, ma'am. Can we start with a small prayer song?
Prayer. Yes, do that. Do it. Call me. Nancy will call. Then Sue ma'am.
Yes.
Then Nancy.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah. I know.
Okay. Prayer. Yes.
So a very good morning to all dignitaries, executive members, NHS and guests and delegates. Today we have gathered here for the first annual conference and AGM of Nursing Honor Society. We are highly honored to have famed personalities, Dr. Suresh Khanna ma'am, Dr. Usha Kande ma'am, Nancy Fernandez ma'am, and all the dignitaries who have joined us amidst us in this morning. This event is organized by St. Francis College of Nursing in collaboration with Nursing Honor Society. Prayer works wonders. Prayer should spring from the heart. So let us begin this meeting by seeking the blessing of our patron, St. Francis, by asking for the Lord's help for us to spread peace to the people around us. I request Miss Steffi to start the prayer song.
Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring
Thank you,
Beautiful.
Steffi.
It's melodious.
Thank you, Steffi. I take the opportunity of requesting Professor Dr. Usha Ukande ma'am, President NHS, to deliver the welcome address and present the brief about the Nursing Honor Society.
Good morning, everybody. It's my honor to welcome all of you, especially Dr. Sue Khanna from US, Dr. Nancy Fernandez from Mumbai, all other, there are 77 people who have joined us. I welcome each one of you. Nursing Honor Society is the child of Sue Khanna ma'am. And of course, I'm now the mother of, we started it here in 2018, got it registered. And we do activities with the NRSI. Twice we had done the ceremony because we don't have much fund. Whatever money, seed money, Sue Khanna ma'am had given us, we used it for registration and website. And for the first, the Hall of Fame conference we conducted. So we don't have much money, so we do it with the NRSI. I request them to give me 2 hours, and in 2 hours we conduct the program, induction ceremony and award ceremony, and telling people what about the Nursing Honor Society. So last time it was in Mumbai. This time, because of this corona, everybody is going virtual. So we also thought we'll go virtual. We are not doing the Hall of Fame, but we are conducting this conference, very small conference, short one, but with a very great meaning, that is make nurses visible, nurses and nursing visible, so that, you know, we honor ourselves. We say, दूसरों की जैसे पहले खुद की चेक करें, अपने आप को भी ऑनर करना है, नर्सिस को खुद को ऑनर करना है, नर्सिस अपने आप को ऑनर करेंगी तो दूसरे लोग भी उनको ऑनर करेंगे. तो दैट इज वन बिग थिंग दैट वी ऑल नीड टू do. We should respect each one of us. We should respect ourselves and award ourselves. So with that view, today's program has been St. Francis College of Nursing, and Blessy and her team are very nice people. I would say that took up this responsibility of doing it in morning hours. And we are happy to have all of you, and we are keen to listen to Sue ma'am and Nancy ma'am, and of course that later on we will have the meeting. So once again, I welcome each one of you for this program. Thank you. Over to Blessy.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. It's a great honor and pleasure to have Dr. Suresh Narula Khanna ma'am, honorary patron of NHS amongst us, a citizen of India, Canada, and USA, with an immense professional experience in both clinical as well as teaching. Madam has presented herself as both researcher and presenter internationally as well as nationally. Dr. Khanna madam has published articles, chapters, and book on history of nursing and Indian nursing leaders from 1947 to 2020. This third edition is almost complete for publication. Madam headed for many years as a president of TNAI branch of Canada and USA, and a chapter president of international renowned nursing honor society called Sigma Theta Tau USA. In addition, Madam has served as a TNAI representative for many years and also as an NGO member at United Nations. Madam had got golden opportunity to utilize critical elements in the nursing and published her own nursing competencies. Though being a retired professor emeritus from Deemed Pace University, New York, Madam keeps herself occupied as a freelance curriculum consultant. I feel highly obliged to request Dr. Suresh Narula Khanna madam to give the keynote address.
First, thank you and greetings from New York, USA. And I'm honored to be here on behalf of St. Francis College of Nursing and Nursing Honor Society. In collaboration, both of them have a good theme, very appropriate, that making nurse and nursing visible and it is the need of the hour. So I would like to be just thanking Nancy ma'am also that I'm sharing platform with her and other honorable executive members of your committee of NHS. Also the lovely audience, I want to say thank you. Without you guys, we cannot say what we want to say if there is no one to hear us. So my congratulations and my thank you. Now, if you see the first slide, if you can see it, it says, that making nurse and nursing visible is responsibility of all of us, that we cannot just do it by saying it, one person in solo. It has to be a united front. And if we do not present it, because I'm coming from 50 years of experience from other countries, and I would like to see not like copying it, but tailoring it to your need, but still having the similar kind of responses and adaptation of mechanism how you can be visible. So some of the nurses can be, and they are, but many of them are like increase their visibility, maybe indication of vital signs for a strong position in healthcare organizations. To make themselves more visible, they can use social media and other media. Here in United States, nobody makes any qualms. Oh, it is a social media only for a younger generation or just for chit chat. But they use it to its full strength, to the optimum, the social media to say their point, to say something. Then nurses can send requests to the corporate world to get the opportunity to talk to their employees, which they are doing it here very often. And more frequent trips to the schools to provide information about nursing and the role nurses play in the patient care health team. And here we are obliged to go to the schools, no matter your PhD, no matter your what capacity, if you have that specialty, like I was taking mine on pediatrics because I'm a certified pediatric nurse, and I was taking them in labor and delivery also. So there were like 4 units for me, and to go to 4 different places according to the age of those children was a little bit hectic, but it was very rewarding because from the very beginning they were hearing that nurses word, which I heard when I was teenager before I go for my training. And I'm talking about 50 years ago when you people were not, many of you were not even born. So what you have to do is to join collaboratively and have the settings in hand that you can present yourself or being visible. For example, Alan DA in his article, Making Visible the Unseen Elements of Nursing, said that much of the work nurses do is unseen. Recognition of this work would help shape education and ensure society has an accurate view of the profession. More effort must be done to recognize and communicate the value of nursing leadership and nurses from all nursing settings. And it must join hands together in practice and in maybe in growth, in research, in administration. So wherever it is, we should be doing it. I am meeting the need of the hour because I don't want to elaborate because Dr. Nancy also is going to talk about more into detail, but I gave you the synopsis that what we can do in nutshell. And I am personally just going to give you example how I see that I made myself visible, my society visible, and my work visible. That making nurse and nursing visible by taking care of the caregivers. You all are caregivers. You are giving 24/7 care to the patient. And sometimes you don't have somebody to pat at your back, to say thank you, to say we appreciate. And when I was working with Zeta Omega, which is one chapter of a very prestigious international society, which is called Sigma Theta Tau, International Nursing Honor Society of America. And it was a year of 1987. So when I was working as a president for that chapter and a steering committee member, I thought, why not to have the same kind of thing in our country, in India? So I just went through and asked a couple of people. Everybody was busy. And I understand, because when we come out of our country, we come to earn money and we don't have time. And also the New York is in 4 boroughs, different from A to Z. If from Delhi to Ghaziabad, Delhi to Faridabad, like that, very far away islands, and 4 boroughs, 5 boroughs are there. So I had a sudden spark in my mind that we should also honor our nurses, our caregivers, our dedicated frontline heroes, and nursing leaders who have served with compassion, dedication, and sacrifices. My 2 shining knights, my dedicated nursing leaders, Dr. Mariama Sen and Mrs. Sosama Bach, agreed, and we took a plunge in this venture and got the Nursing Honor Society registered in New York, USA, called Nursing Honor Society of India. We had our run for 5 years, and some of the nursing leaders who visited us from time to time got inducted in Hall of Fame during our meetings. To name a few, the list consists late Dr. Margaret Dean, late Mrs. Cherian, Mrs. Uma Handa, and of course, 3 of us, the seed founders. And then Mrs. Handa promised that she will continue induction ceremony during her nursing research back home in India. In 1999, I was invited by NRSI to present my paper in College of Nursing, CMC Ludhiana, and Mrs. Handa provided the platform for first beautiful induction ceremony of Nursing Honor Society in India. Many new members were enrolled in the society, and it was followed by second induction in 2000 in Indore during NRSI's conference under the leadership of Dr. Usha Malik ji, then president of NRSI. While in New York, it became very difficult to drive members, conduct meetings, and have induction ceremonies. Moreover, unfortunately, it became cumbersome to find eligible members with higher education. If you remember 50 years ago, people were with very few degrees with BSc and all, and GNM were the majority, 99%, and which is one criteria to have members with basic BSc qualification to get enrolled. Nurses were working double shifts to earn, which was and is the main criteria to be here in foreign country. Nurses were not interested to become members. So with this major economic reason to maintain the society without its growth and to pay the bills of bank account and fill income tax forms and go through USA requirements each year. With the result, it lapsed. But I kept on dreaming and kept my dream alive. And finally, after 16 years, Dr. Usha Khande Malik ji, I requested her, my older baby, if she can make him small and adopt him, and we can start again. She agreed in principle as much as in reality. And kudos to them, thanks to them, they got the society registered and on time before we went to Kolkata. So the first induction ceremony in 2018 was held during the Nursing Research Society's conference in Kolkata under the auspicious presidency of Dr. Usha ji, who was NRSI's president. Her cabinet members, Blessy and other people, under her guidance, planned, implemented the whole ceremony with rituals, with such an elegance, pride, and with all the rituals. Mrs. Reena Bose ji was inducted in Hall of Fame. I was there to present my paper at NRSI and witnessed such a beautiful moment. The next slide will show the first and second of those induction ceremony, a few glimpses. After that, the next mini video clip will show you those. And you guys did it last year in Mumbai with the same strong executive members, diligent efforts to conduct the induction ceremony during NRSI conference. Dr. Usha ji was inducted in Hall of Fame. Thank you and congratulations. It was and is well deserved. It is a matter of pride for us to have role models like her to show the professional path of nursing to the coming generation. With that, and coming to conclusion, then I will run that 1 minute video for you if I can, but let me finish with the conclusion and references. I would like to say that the society is growing under the auspicious leadership of Dr. Usha Malik and her expert, seasoned executive team. And it is like a child's growth and development because I saw spurs of growth and development. It was in 1987 to 92, then in 99, then 2000, and then all of a sudden 2018. And I hope now it continues. Then this platform is to recognize the caregivers and nursing leaders who have contributed their special skills and talents of our nursing profession. It is the recognition of the nursing caregivers, but I will add to it in the conclusion, unless we have our nursing leaders in the policy making, decision making at the government level, nothing is going to be achieved. Because here we are reaching, just like we will catch it, autonomous status. And we are working towards that diligently. And I find with the commission's bill, which came out from the government, it looks like we are going backwards. I respect ANMs, I respect GNMs, but to create multi-purpose workers who can give medications, prescriptions in a village, don't you think in rural area, those people have the right to have good and quality care of nursing? Then we have to fight. I heard from Dr. Swati Rane that she is very vocal and very active in presenting these things to the government and national level. She is coming on TV, a lot of it. If you don't know Dr. Swati Rane, you can find her as a vice president in Clinical Nursing Research Society, her address. What she has done has bring all the nurses from all the spheres and from all the fields, practice, education, administration, management together, and they have said no to the bill. Karnataka state is almost going to say no to that bill also. So please join wherever you are in Madhya Pradesh. If you can lead, where Usha ji is very, very apt and role model because she is having a lot of petitions. We are signing it, petition here, petition there. So you can have this petition also to sign to bring the nurses on the platform to be more visible. Okay, with that, I am going to start this. These are the 3 seed givers. Okay, these are the references. I think every should, thank you. Every should try to read more on the visibility point, how they have tackled with these, and they are still tackling at the government level, that how they can bring the nurses on the committees and represent like a medical. We don't have to be subservient again. So please just sign those petitions.
Yeah.
Namaskar and thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your experience, and thank you for this wonderful session. Now we'll move further. It's a privilege and honor to have amidst us Professor Dr. Nancy Fernandez Pereira, ma'am, who is currently working as Principal, LTCN SNDT Women's University, Mumbai, since 2015. Madam has gained PG Diploma in Education Management, along with being Masters in Pediatrics Nursing, and has also added feathers to her career by accomplishing Doctorate in Nursing. Madam is the alumni of the prestigious SNDT Women's University, Mumbai. Madam has gained wide teaching experience of 34 years, especially in Muscat School of Nursing, Ministry of Health, Oman, for short span of time. She has mentored postgraduate students for their thesis, along with being an evaluator for doctoral and postdoctoral dissertations. Dr. Nancy has contributed chapters to books and has also prolific publications to her credit. Madam has conducted as well as organized a variety of workshops and conferences, and currently is a member of various professional bodies and has also been invited as a speaker at both national and international conferences. Without further ado, I would now like to request Madam to share her views on making nurse and nursing visible, need of the hour. If audience have any questions, kindly type them into question box in your Zoom control panel. It would put forward at the end of the talk. After the meeting, feedback link will be shared in the chat box, on the basis of which e-certificate will be issued to all the participants. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Blessy, for a lovely introduction. Thanks to the Nurses Honor Society, I'm indeed honored to be here representing, I won't say I'm representing myself, I represent the fraternity of nursing, because it's time. And I think we have all been pushed from our comfort zone of being saying, I'm being a nurse, I do my 8 hours duty, and that's over. I get my payback, and that's it. I have taken literature reviews, but the whole idea of taking this topic of making nurse and nursing visible is really because of the commission bill. We have sat quiet for quite some time, happy to be nurses and looking after the sick. Who are we? It's time to question ourselves again. Who are these nurses? Does the public know? Are we clear about our role? Or is she or he just someone in a white garb? I remember when I decided to be a nurse way back in 1986, when I completed my graduation, my dad asked me, "You are going to be just like one of them." And I said, "No, I'm not just going to be one like the crowd. I'm going to be different." And he wanted to know why I didn't choose medicine over nursing. And I said, if you really want to look after somebody who's sick, then you have to be a nurse. A doctor will prescribe and go away. So we need to change the way the public looks at us. Our own society of nurses recognize us, but our stakeholders, the nurses, the other nurses from various categories, largely the public whom we are serving, they need to recognize us as nurses, as an independent profession. Studies have shown the image of nursing indicates that public is not always aware of the qualifications. They need to be sure as to what is a qualification of nurse. I remember when I said I want to be a nurse, some of the people asked me, My daughter also is going to the hospital and working. So is she a nurse? What is different between me, a nurse who has a master's degree, or a me as a nurse who's having a baccalaureate degree or a GNM degree? What is it that's different that makes me a professional nurse? Ironically, this image may be partly self-created by us nurses themselves due to the lack of public discourse and visibility. We hesitate to tell others that I am a nurse. Public image is diverse and incongruent thanks to the experiences that they have of the unqualified nurses they have met in the nursing home or in nursing clinics run by doctors. Despite the critical role nurses have played in patient care, they are frequently absent from the health news reports. And both the journalists and the nurses themselves should work to increasing their visibility. It's the onus on each of us that we need to make sure that we are marketing ourselves. We are speaking about ourselves. What does the public look at us? What remaining damage is required is done by our movies, our films, and nurses have never raised their voice for the wrong depiction of the profession. Just to quote, a few weeks ago, the Navy was depicted wrongly. They raised their voice. Why are we not raising our voice when we see the movies depicting us badly? Media has often depicted nurses as working at the patient's bedside and performing repetitive tasks and routine tasks, mostly as doctors' handmaidens, a dumb stuck with no intelligence of her own. I quote my own experience way back in '86 when I graduated out as a nurse and joined the hospital. I remember the doctor telling me, pick up the files and come behind me. And I just looked at my hands and I said, I think both of us have got two hands. The files belong to you. They're doctor's files. I think you can help yourself. And believe it or not, as I walked to the bedside, never did a doctor ask me to carry the files and walk behind him. So we have to know our position. What is it that we are? We are not somebody who is dumb. We are not somebody who is unintelligent. Just a clippings of the images created by media related to nurses. Some of you may be familiar with some of the movie clippings. Nurses are often appreciated for their virtue and not their knowledge. They are viewed as feminine and caring, not as autonomous healthcare providers. Yes, we are women. We have a heart, we care, we are sensitive to the needs of others. But the bottom line is we are professionals. Nursing is as a profession with a limited amount of opportunities as seen by our youngsters. The only way being to better themselves by going abroad. Why is it so? Studies have highlighted that nurses derive their own self-concept and professional identity from their public image, work environment, work values, education, and traditional social and cultural values. If you look at the state of Kerala, why were they able to fight the pandemics? Whether it was chikungunya, whether it was swine flu, or the coronavirus. Because the health was in the hands of the women. The woman who was the leader, she made sure that she polished up the healthcare and made nurses the most visible individual in the healthcare. Nurses are very happy hearing doctors and other healthcare professionals referring to them as the backbone of healthcare. So when it comes to recognizing or improving the image of nurses, why don't they support us? Support the cause of nurse, remuneration for services provided. If I'm not mistaken, yesterday we have AIMS going on strike because they are not being paid well. Most of the time, the media has only highlighted nurses have gone on strike because they've not paid salary. Come on, nurses are also human beings. They too need to support their family. Grocery in their house is not going to come out because they are kind-hearted. They too have to feed others, members of their family, like the doctors would have to feed, an engineer would have to feed, any other professional would have to feed. So what happens to the backbone called the nurse? Are we getting our recognition from the doctors or from other healthcare professionals? I've quoted a few studies. Kailash, it is 1981 right up to 1983. They have conducted extensive research on image of nurse in the media. 6 images have come out: Angel of Mercy, Girl Friday, Heroine, Mother, Sex Object, Careers. That's the latest. The presence of these stereotype images is confirmed by Gordon, who analyzed the image of nurse in advertising campaigns and found that even though much has changed for women in the 21st century, the image of nursing has really not changed. It's looked up as the image of an angel. I remember when one of the media person met me way back in 86 as a young nurse looking after patients in the psychiatry ward. He wrote a poem saying that you are the angel with the lamp. Fine, great, I'm the angel with the lamp. But when I talk, when I work, I'm the professional. That's what we need to keep reminding others. 2012, they discussed about the nurses and nursing, which was identified from the video clips on the YouTube. There was a change. 3 nursing identity types came out. The skilled knower and doer, great. Somebody recognized us as somebody who knows. Bad. Sexual plaything. Witless and incompetent individual. The last 2 still need to change. Although the results of these studies showed a rather heterogeneous picture of the image of nurse and nursing, the stereotypical image of nurses nevertheless still remain persistent. Researchers have analyzed healthcare news stories published in September 2017 and found only 2% quoted attributed to nurses of the time. Nurses were identified in 4% of the images and mentioned in 13% of the articles. The reporters revealed they did not often reach out to women nurses and people not in authoritative position in healthcare. Several journalists said they have to justify using the information provided by a nurse because nurse is not looked out as a source of information. Others expressed confusion at the nurse's role in the healthcare setting. What is she doing? She's just dispensing medication, changing linen. But there are several journalists who did use nurse as a resource person, and they said she enriched their story. The message was loud and clear. Nurses are not viewed as experts or key leaders, and so are not good source of information. And therefore, we do not see the TV media screen burning with nurses' opinion today when the bill is coming out. The bill has not been seen by many of the nurses. So why are nurses not being interviewed by the top speakers, the top channels? Why is NDTV not approaching nurses? Why isn't the media knowing about it? The lack of nursing representation in the media is part of the deep-rooted gender disparity in the media. If we had a nursing profession, not 90% females, but 90% males, then the TV screen would have been burning with the news that they are talking about the commission, they're talking about the bill. Nurses make up the largest segment of the healthcare. Nurses contribute to reducing the medical errors, improving patient safety, improving access to care, and discovering new paths in telehealth and technology and development. We have evidence-based practices. But where is it noticed by the medical fraternity? Where do the patients know that our actions are evidence-based? Why are we not talking that as per this study, I am providing you this care because this is going to benefit you? Then the public will know. Yet, the visibility in the media and influence in the policy making are not commensurated with their number, position, and expert. Quote from Ms. Meyer. There is change taking place. Over the last decade, nursing has brought numerous types of nursing education programs, which resulted in a variety of nursing levels, baccalaureate, masters, doctors, along with specialization and super specialization. But does the public know it? Even the most respected news media sources belittle nursing, so readers do not get a sense that nurses are educated, life-saving professional functioning scientifically. Even in the COVID time, everyone thinks of reaching a doctor first. When at the bedside, the nurse is working to get the patient back on his feet. In the community, it is the nurses who are going out, the community health nurse going along with the ASHA workers and checking. Media highlights opinions of doctors, but not of the nurses. Why? Shouldn't we make ourselves as nurses visible? To circumvent this unfavorable image, we as nurses should work harder to make themselves visible. We could profit from using social media to communicate both their professionalism and contribute to public. If you look at the WhatsApp, I think on my phone we have got many WhatsApp groups, and so would you have. But on those WhatsApp groups are only nurses talking about nurses. We need the public on our WhatsApp group. We need our friends and colleagues from the other fields to be on our WhatsApp group to see our achievement. Nurses should stand up for themselves. This is possible if nurses have a strong base of knowledge and continue doing higher education. I don't think we require the changed norms of INC, which says that for nurses who are registering for BSc program should have 45%. Why not 50% and above? Why not 60%? We are training people in whose hands we are going to place our health, the health of the nation. So why isn't it that the stakeholders agree that the entry point for nurses should be nothing but 50 and above percentage at the 12th standard? Science stream, why do we have to take in students who have done commerce and arts? It's not acceptable. Why isn't it that engineering people take somebody from any other stream? No, they have their dictums. If you do not have that requirements at the entry point, they do not take you. Then why are we as nurses compromising on our entry levels in the BSc program? Nurses should make better use of strategic positions such as case managers, nurse educators, or clinical nurse specialists. Yes, these cadres should be created. With the corporates entering in, we do have positions created now as nurse executives, nurse managers. We need to use these titles, these status to indicate our professionalism. We need to show the public what our work really is. We need to enter and pick up various courses. After finishing our BSc nursing, we don't need to just go in for masters. You can take masters in informatics so that at the hospital, in the College of Nursing, informatics is dealt by a nurse. We need lawyers. If we had a dozen more than lawyers today, we would have been asked our opinion about the commission. After finishing your baccalaureate, get into law. We need nurses who are lawyers because nobody else can understand our issues better than nurses. And therefore, we need to know law. We have patients, relatives, anyone coming and hitting a nurse. We as nurses need to know about our human ethics, left, right, center. We need to know our rights. I can go on naming the courses that we can take up after BSc nursing so that every position in a hospital is taken over by the nurse, be it the recruiting officer, be it your GAD, that is the General Department of Admissions, any section which comes under health, we should have a nurse. We have gone through sociology. We have gone through management course. We have done nursing education. Doctors do not have it. But when it comes to certain positions, you have doctors who are in our councils. Why can't we have our own people governing us. Why do we need others to govern us? Why do we have, or do we still have to continue coming with this bill, getting doctors, getting the IS officers, etc., holding positions in the nursing forum will take us back again another 50, 20, 70 years back. It's important, therefore, that nurses start advocating strongly for their profession, presenting the reality of nursing, helping everyone to understand what nurses really do for patients and the wider community. Have a board at the hospital where your patients can put up messages, put up cards, thanking the nurses for their contribution. So everyone can see that board, that what a nurse has achieved. As nursing increasingly take on more and more roles. So as we do that, we must take every opportunity to own the care the nurses are delivering. We have to celebrate positive therapeutic connections. We make every day and positive profile of our great profession. This is quoting Prescott, 2015. It's time nurses become vocal. Let their concern resound across the society. Nurses need to remember to take opportunities for interprofessional learning. Let's not get ourselves stuck and become only nurses. We should be nurses with informatics, nurses with law, nurses with management, nurses with research abilities. We need to expand ourselves and make ourselves visible. Everyone should feel that they need us to be on their team. And therefore, I would conclude by saying, understanding the true value of a strong, highly skilled nursing profession will ensure that professional competence and caring nurses are there when and where they are needed. Nurses need to claim their expertise and authority by making an effort to actively engage with the media. We also need nurses taking up journalism. I remember one of my senior had taken up journalism, and she was a journalist for the healthcare magazine. Unless nurses themselves establish a public image and a professional identity that recognizes the value of their professional and educational development, the problem of a fuzzy and inaccurate image of nurse will continue to exist. These are my references. Thank you. I'll stop sharing slides and I open it for a discussion.
Thank you, Nancy ma'am, for this enlightening session. You have given a lot of references, evidences, as well as you all created an energy on all of us, I hope, that we have to expand our stream like nurses with informatics, nurses with law, nurses with journalism, etc. should be added. So I'm really thankful, madam. I'll just see whether there is some questions in the chat box. And I request all the audience to... Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
I would like to say, Nancy, you had been great. You have really worked hard on bringing all these aspects to share it with all of us, 96 of us. I'm sure Sue Madam had initiated, she told us what is visibility, but Nancy, you gave more, and both of you have really, जगा दिया है सबको. 96, 97 लोग तो जाग गए हैं. I wish that all of us, each one of us, take this message further, make visible at every point. I mean, each individual should work on it. It's not only talking in these conferences, but doing. Let me just say that I have started my own publication house. A nurse can start a publication house. So I'm bringing out one book, and journal is also there. Today's talk, Nancy, I'm going to ask you to make it little more organized, and I'm going to put it in the December issue. We want it to go to more people. I'm going to put these two, this particular Blessy, with your, she's also one of the editors. Sony is also in that. We are going to put this particular topic on our journal.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
For more people to see. I'm sorry.
Sure, ma'am, sure. It's really a very great session, Nancy, ma'am. There is one question from Shrija. Ma'am, how to advocate holding different positions as many nurses doing, but not in the limelight? Can you please enlighten us?
I think most of you might be knowing about the commission bill that's come out.
Yeah, ma'am.
What I have started doing is I have roped in women activists, because remember that when you say nurses talk, people say, "हाँ उन लोग खुद के लिए लड़ रहे हैं," or it's not so powerful sometimes. So I have started sending the bill copy now through WhatsApp to my friends who are non-nurses. I've sent it to women activists. I've sent it to a lawyer who's the UN lawyer. When you get people, now the UN lawyer whom I have contacted is known at the UN, United Nations, well-known face. So I have made him start talking about us. So when we have all people, and we are trying to get, Swati herself is trying to get into with Bhakti. Most of you might be knowing who was a TV anchor. So we need people to talk about us, because yes, we have not been nurses who are very vocal. 90% of our nurses, let's acknowledge the fact that we are not financially very well off. So we are fearful that if I start talking, my management will sack me. And that is why, even if I know I have an issue, I will not say, because I don't want to upset my management. And that is where most of the nurses, whether it's in your corporate hospital or it's in your public hospital or private hospitals, they are scared to talk about. I think there are hardly, you can count people on your fingers who will go and tell their management, "Sorry, you can't treat my nurses this way." Because immediately they'll say, "Ma'am, nahi karna hai, nikal jao." And unfortunately, there are nurses who have not formed their own union. We have gone and joined with union, which is of the fourth class employees. What is wrong to have a union? Association is fine. But if you know exactly and you're following the rules and regulations, why can't nurses fight for themselves? We can, as nurses, can have a union. But somewhere along the line, I think even I was under the impression union is bad. Union means, I think, thanks to the image created by labor union, we as union, nurses union, we can put our issues down. We have nursing leaders. Why can't the nursing leaders come? When a nurse, a young girl has an issue, and I think as Madam Sanna has already mentioned, Swati has really put a lot of issues in the media. On the news, we are gone on to Scroll and Wire. Maybe you will hear about it sometime. You have to get your contacts. You have friends who are in eminent position, get them along with you to talk to them. Because remember, we as nurses are providing care, but to whom? To the public, to the citizens. Can they differentiate the quality of nursing care? I'll give you a simple example. My dad was not well. He was admitted, I will not name the hospital. He was admitted, and when I walked in, there was a girl who was starting something. I said, "Kya chalu kar rahe?" She said, "नहीं मैडम, chemotherapy चालू कर रहे." I said, "क्यों?" नहीं सर ने बोला है. I said, "कौन सा ड्रग है? आपको क्या करना है?" I said, "मुझे पता करना है कौन सा ड्रग है." Then she told me, ये ड्रग है. I said, "आप GNM नर्स हो?" नहीं मैम, मैंने GNM नहीं करना, पर मैं सोच रही हूँ करने के लिए. I said, क्या हो? She was not even an ANM. How could that hospital appoint somebody? And I said, "Stop it. I am giving you in writing, you are not going to administer the drug. I know I cannot administer the drug in this particular hospital. I want a doctor to come and administer the chemotherapy drug." If I have not raised my voice, I never tell people who I am. The minute I say I'm Dr. Nancy Fernandez Pereira, then people run. No, I don't want people to run because of who I am. I am coming there as a relative of a patient. I want them to listen to me. I want them to listen that patients have a right. Why do we as nurses hesitate to explain to a patient what are his rights? We say the role of a nurse as out of an advocacy, a teacher, a mentor, etc. Then why are we not fulfilling our role? We need ourselves to be, are we scared? We are scared if we do not have the knowledge. We do not have the correct answers. But if you have the answers, you can give the answers with a pathophysiological explanation, rationally, the relatives will understand you. There are a number of times when I am not being pompous. I think probably the way I have been trained, the way I have been grilled to be vocal or to explain about my profession, about my work, probably even I feel that if I can make a difference to one nurse and change, I am happy. Because that one nurse will probably go and change another one nurse. And that's where our movement will start. We don't want credit for ourselves. We need the credit for our profession. We need people to stop giving us wrong images. Because I remember when I said, I'm Dr. Nancy, when I asked, oh, which subject specialty is yours? I said, pediatric nursing. Huh? Pediatric nursing. ऐसा भी होता है क्या? There are many people, many doctors who do not know that nurses are not just GNM. There's a baccalaureate, there's masters, there's PhD, there's MPhil. There are specialized nurses for every bit of the thing. Why is it that our Indian nurses who are intelligent running to the West? Simply because they get recognized for their profession. And they're willing to pay them for that profession. We are willing to pay a carpenter whatever he asks us because I want a good TV, a good cabinet or a good table or a good bed made. Then why am we as stakeholders of nursing care providers not asking for the salary that we require as professionals? Why don't we start looking at our education and the 4 years and the 2 years of masters and the doctoral time that we have spent as investment into the healthcare system? The minute we start measuring our healthcare system by the amount of investment of time and energy we are doing, we will be paid. We just go to a doctor's clinic for 5 minutes and get a consultation. We pay him 1,000 without a qualm. When we go to a nursing clinic and we get a consultation from a nurse, why are we making? I remember I went bargaining with the university because my staff nurse was getting only 20,000. I calculated and told my registrar, divide 20,000 by 30 days, it comes to 800. One meal in Mumbai's Khao Gali costs, pav bhaji costs nothing less than 100 rupees. 8 hours she's on duty, it's coming to 88 rupees, she can't buy a meal. So he looked at me, he said, ma'am, give me time. We will look. Because remember, being a government organization, salaries don't come out very easily from the pockets. But we have to be united and keep on talking. The day we are united and talking, not me as Nancy, not me as Madam Usha Malik or Shrija, we as nurses need to keep talking. And yes, I think those of you who have heard Swati talking or Praveena talking or any of the people talking about the commission bill will realize the day we have a non-nurse sitting on our heads, we can stop calling ourselves as nurses. We will be glorified, qualified ayabais. I'm sorry to say that. So it's time we get up and start talking about. We don't want to be recognized as a nurse. We want nurses to have their own clinics. I'm happy, madam, some of you may not be knowing, but Blessy runs a psychiatry nurse clinic. Usha madam has her maternity midwifery clinic. If they can do it, why not all the other nurses? You are specialized. Every day after work, have a 2 hours clinic. There was a time when I did counseling for people. After work, I would go to anybody who called me. I will go and sit with them to help them to get, having done counseling course, I used to go and get them to counsel themselves. So work as a little counselor. Of course, I used to never take remuneration then. But I think now, I think even I should take remuneration for the time invested and helping someone to recover.
Yeah.
But then,
Sure,
yes.
ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
Yeah.
Sorry for the interruption.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's interesting.
It is
Very
really
interesting,
very interesting. And we just keep on listening to you. It's really, you have motivated all of us, I hope. But there is surely, I think one of the reasons behind not vocal is our nurses or nursing colleges, they are not doing, giving the proper exposure to the students as well as this non-attending business. Because of that, the nurses who are produced or who are graduated from those colleges, they don't have that much of knowledge as well as skill. That is one of the reasons, I must say. So that should be removed, or some action should be taken. That is the thing. Shall I, if Madam permits, shall I continue with our next section of the meeting.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
thank you, Nancy ma'am. Thank you for this wonderful session once again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I hope I've stimulated many more people to change the way they think. I hope so.
Yes.
All of you, please stay back for the general body meeting. It is not going to be a big one, small one, short one. Let's start.
Yes, ma'am. So I would now like to proceed further by inviting all the executive members for the